Folks, can this be more misleading? I'll explain what I mean and then get into the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending August 13th, 2025. If you want to speak directly with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. If you've ever gone out looking at properties, or if you're doing it now and you read the MLS listing, many times in the description it'll say renovated top to bottom. We just went to a home that said just that, renovated top to bottom. We're excited to go see it. Our client, the buyer, is excited to go see it. When we get there, the ceiling's been smoothened throughout the house. The floors have been changed, but the kitchen's falling apart. We didn't quite pick that up in the photos. The way the photos were taken, you couldn't figure that out. But the kitchen's the cupboards are falling apart. The basement is unfinished. The bathrooms are, kind of original. And the only real renovations done, it's what I said at the beginning. The ceiling's been smoothened and the floors have been changed. That's it. So maybe what they mean, maybe I'm the one that's got this all wrong. Renovated top to bottom means top's been renovated, the ceiling, and the bottom, the floor. Maybe that's what they mean. I don't think so, though. I think they're really misleading people. And my clients were a bit frustrated when we're looking at this property that was advertising renovated top to bottom, and it's not. And I don't know if there's a more misleading phrase that we read all the time. Let me know in the comments below, because I know you've experienced this. If you've ever looked at properties or you're looking at properties now, I know you've experienced renovated top to bottom and you see something else different when you actually show up. There's another aspect to this I want to talk about right now. There's many properties that have been on the market for a while and not sold. A bunch of those are either going to expire around now or they'll be taken off the market now with the attitude of being put back on the market in the fall. And sellers receive feedback while people come and see their homes, and some of the feedback could be the home is dated or, the floors are bad, it needs some work. So some sellers are going to take it upon themselves in the time that their home comes off the market and before they relist to maybe freshen the home up. I'm not talking major rentals, but they may consider painting the home. They may consider freshening up the kitchen by painting the cupboards, for example. They may consider, if the floors are all scratched or there's old carpet, maybe they're going to replace the floors. But since they're selling, most sellers see it as pointless to get the best quality material and to get the best contractors. They don't want to spend that kind of money. Some sellers will do the work themselves or hire the most inexpensive, lowest of the low contractors to do that kind of work. After all, they're selling. And if they do those changes, then they could advertise renovated top to bottom. When you read that expression, that phrase, renovated top to bottom, I don't know about you, but to me it also implies, wow, should look modern, new. And then you show up and you actually see it, and it's the worst paint job you've ever seen. Or, the kitchen cupboards are painted, but what a terrible job. Or the floors have been replaced, but man, they're wavy. Or it's just, buyers are looking at this and they're thinking they got to redo the work. And this is where it frustrates buyers. This is where your renovated top to bottom renovations, if they're not quality work, it's actually a turnoff. It's worse for the buyer. It's one thing the buyer seeing the home in its current condition, putting an offer and in their head calculating this is the kind of work I've got to do afterwards. And the buyer will do it according to how they want to do it. But when it's a bad job, it's like extra work for the buyers. It's more of a negative for the buyer. And you as a seller, what you thought you were doing that's going to make it easier to sell your home actually works against you. So if you're going to do work, make it quality work. If not, that's okay too. Just promote the house in the state that it's in, but you're not fooling anybody by saying renovate it top to bottom when it's not, or it's really shady renovations. You're actually turning buyers off. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. And if you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. Now, let's get into the numbers. Here we go, folks. We're focused on the detached properties for Mississauga, Brampton, and Durham region. For Durham, I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample. This is all for week ending August 13th. Sales overall, average sold prices overall trending down for each of these three areas. We're going to start off with Mississauga. For week ending August 13th, 29 detached properties sold. One of those properties sold at $2 million or more. Sales, look, just over the last couple of weeks, sales were trending, it seems to be trending down. That's what we expect at this time of the year, headed towards the end of August. Sales normally, we see fewer sales, and then the other side into the fall, we typically see sales starting to pick up again. Let's see what happens this year. But right now, we have fewer sales, only 29 sold. Average sold price, bit of a roller coaster. It's currently sitting at $1,270,000. And if we go back to the beginning of the July, sales very consistently, where average sold price has consistently been dropping down. Prior to that, it was the opposite. Average sold price for several months seemed to be trending up, but right now it's on a downward trend. Compared to the same week a year ago, $1,270,000 is 7% lower. The median price of $1,225,000, it's a little bit lower right now this year, but it rounds off to a 0% change. When we look at the dotted line, the 4-week moving average, it's not such a straight line, but overall average price and median price trending downwards. 29 were sold, 1, so 3% sold at list price or more. Listings, we're seeing this pattern quite a bit. Fewer listings, but in the last week or two, listings have picked up. And the same thing here, active listings in most areas for a while have been trending down, not aggressively, just a fewer and fewer properties available for sale. That doesn't necessarily mean they're getting sold. In fact, I could tell you, most of them are not being sold. They're just coming off the market. Either the listing's expiring or the sellers are choosing to terminate the listing. But we're also seeing in the last week or two in many areas, active listings creep up again. Of all the properties available for sale, the detached properties available for sale in Mississauga, and at the time of this chart, week ending August 13th, there was 930, 3.1% actually sold. It's not a lot, only 3.1% sold. Months of inventory, way up there at 7.4 months of inventory. Here's Brampton. 45 detached properties sold. No property sold at $2 million or more. What does 45 mean? Well, if we compare to the previous week, 45 is much higher versus the previous week of 32. But the previous week was a long weekend, and we often see fewer sales on a long weekend. But 45 is, I can't say which way sales are going. Are they trending up, down, or kind of flat? Average sold price, pretty clear, trending down. We're currently sitting at $1,009,000 for the average detached property sold in Brampton. But overall, since the beginning of March, over time, average sold price has been getting smaller and smaller. Compared to last year, $1,009,000 is 8% lower. The median price of $945,000, is 12% lower. The dotted line, the 4-week moving average, both for average price and median price, trending down. 45 were sold. 9 of those, so 20%, sold at list price or more. Here's the pattern I was speaking about earlier in Mississauga. And it's the same pattern in our previous videos this week. Active listings, we were seeing fewer listings, but over the last 1 or 2 weeks, more listings. Active listings was trending down and now starting to trend up a little bit, not aggressively, but for Brampton, of all the detached properties available for sale, and there's 1,430, 3.2% actually sold, only 3.2%. And months of inventory, way up there at 7.3 months of inventory. Here's Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby for week ending August 13th. 48 detached properties sold. 2 of those sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price is $1,093,000. I would say sales trending down. I would also say from this perspective, average sold price overall trending down. $1,093,000 is 4% higher than the same week a year ago. The median price of $984,000 is 2% lower. The dotted line, the 4-week moving average, does show a slight downward trend in average price and median price. It's not aggressive, but trending down. 48 were sold. 11 of those, so 23%, sold at list price or more. Listings were trending down. Now, more of them. Active listings were becoming fewer. Now it's a little bit higher again. 6.7% of all available properties, detached properties available for sale, sold in Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby. 6.7%. I know it sounds like it's only 6.7%, but it's one of the highest percentages of all the areas in the GTA. Months of inventory sitting at 3.4 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary. Look, in Ajax, Pickering, Whitby, for detached properties, most likely you're going to experience a balanced market. Maybe even in a few situations be a little bit more aggressive, but pretty much a balanced market. Mississauga and Brampton, you got a better chance of experiencing a buyer's market. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.